Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of specific coins, the top 10 most valuable USA Lincoln Wheat penny coins value in today's market. So let's get started. First up, 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny, specifically one in extra fine condition. We'll explore its background, why it might be considered valuable, and what it's worth in today's coin market. Let's start by understanding what this coin is. The 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted in San Francisco, as indicated by the S mint mark just below the date on the front of the coin. The Lincoln Wheat penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It remained in production until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. The wheat ears on the reverse side symbolize agricultural strength and were part of the original design by Victor David Brenner, who also designed the obverse portrait of Lincoln. The 1954 penny had a total mintage of over 96 million coins, which makes it fairly common overall. However, what separates ordinary examples from those that are valued by collectors are factors such as condition, high appeal, and the presence of any mint errors or variations. When we talk about extra fine condition, also referred to as X or EF in grading terms, we mean a coin that shows only light wear on the highest points of the design. The details are still quite sharp. On the Lincoln Wheat penny, this means Lincoln's hair and cheekbones are visible with only minor flattening. On the reverse side, the wheat stalks should show most of their lines and details, with just light wear near the tops of the kernels. In the coin collecting world, grade Matarzalat, a coin in extra fine condition is far more desirable than one that has been heavily circulated and shows significant wear. However, it's still far less rare or valuable than a mint state coin, which would show no wear at all, and may even still have some of its original luster as of mid-2025. The market value of this coin in extra fine condition generally falls between 25 cents and 50 cents. This might sound disappointing at first, especially if you were hoping for a coin worth hundreds of dollars. However, its value depends heavily on the demand among collectors, how many examples are still available in similar or better condition, and whether there are any standout features like strong strike quality or minimal spotting. Now, some examples of the 1954 penny can fetch higher prices if they exhibit particularly strong characteristics. A sharply struck coin with beautiful toning and no spots or blemishes might be sold for a premium, potentially reaching a few dollars, even in the XF grade range. But these are exceptions, not the rule. It's also worth mentioning that the value could increase significantly if your coin has a rare error. Some collectors are always on the lookout for off-center strikes, double dies, or repunched mint marks. While there are no widely documented major errors specifically tied to the 1954 penny that are recognized across the coin community, it's always possible for unique mint errors to slip through quality control, and those can elevate the value significantly, sometimes into the tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on the rarity and condition of the error. But assuming a standard, well-preserved 1954 penny in extra fine condition with no unusual mint errors, you're realistically looking at a value closer to a few cents above face value. For anyone considering selling or buying such a coin, it's important to remember that coin values can be fluid. They can vary based on the economy, collector interest, and trends in numismatics. Pricing also depends on where and how the coin is sold. Dealers, online auction platforms, and coin shows might all yield different price points. Sellers should also be aware that dealers often pay less than retail value, since they need to make a profit when reselling. If you're a collector or just starting out, a 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny in extra fine condition can still be a worthwhile addition to your collection. It represents a part of American numismatic history and the end of an era, as the wheat design was only used for a few more years after this coin was minted. Even if its market value isn't incredibly high, it carries historical significance and aesthetic appeal. In summary, the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny in extra fine condition is a common but charming coin. Its typical market value ranges from about 25 to 50 cents, with the potential for higher prices if certain exceptional features are present. While it may not make you rich, it's a solid example of mid-20th century U.S. coinage and a good educational piece for collectors at all levels. Next up, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny minted in Philadelphia, found in a very dirty and damaged state, and explore its value in today's market. Let's start with a bit of context. The 1956 wheat penny is part of the last years of the wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. In 1959, the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. The 1956 wheat penny was minted in large numbers, over 420 million. Coins came from the Philadelphia Mint alone. Because of this high mintage, most 1956 wheat pennies are considered common. Now here's where things get specific. A coin's value is determined by several key factors: rarity, demand, condition, and any potential errors or varieties. since the 1956 penny from Philadelphia was produced in such high numbers. Rarity is not a major factor unless we're dealing with a coin that has an unusual error or is in extremely high-grade condition. But in this case, we are focusing on a coin in what might be considered the worst possible condition: extra dirty, heavily worn, possibly damaged, and overall unattractive to most collectors. So what does extra dirty and damaged really mean? In coin collecting, or numismatics, the condition of a coin is graded on a scale. At the top are coins in mint state, showing no signs of wear, and at the bottom are coins in poor or fair condition, which may be corroded, scratched, bent, discolored, or even have parts of the design missing. A heavily circulated coin that is dirty and damaged likely falls into this lower end of the scale. Professional grading services usually do not assign numeric grades to coins in such poor condition, unless the coin is extremely rare or has a valuable error. For a 1956 wheat penny, in this kind of condition, the value primarily lies in its copper content. Pre-1982, U.S. pennies were made mostly of copper, about 95%, and contain roughly 2.95 grams of the metal. At current copper prices, the melt value of a penny like this is just over 2 cents. However, it is illegal to melt down U.S. cents for their metal content, so this theoretical value doesn't translate into real profit. What you're left with is a common coin in poor condition that isn't particularly desirable to collectors. Still, these coins do trade hands, especially among beginner collectors. People looking for bulk wheat penny lots, or those with an interest in coins from a specific year for sentimental reasons. On online marketplaces such as eBay, Etsy, or coin forums, a single heavily worn 1956 wheat penny from Philadelphia in damaged condition often sells for around 5 to 10 cents, sometimes less. If bundled in a lot with other wheat cents, it might even be valued lower per coin. In other words, if you have a 1956 wheat penny that is very dirty and damaged, and you're hoping to sell it, you're not looking at a high-dollar item. The most realistic expectation for such a coin is anywhere between 1 and 10 cents in today's market. And keep in mind, buyers will often prefer coins in better condition, so unless there's something unusual about your penny, such as a rare die, crack, off-center strike, or a double die error, its collector value remains extremely low. There are exceptions. A 1956 penny with a visible and dramatic error, like a double die obverse, can fetch much more, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on the severity and demand. However, error coins are relatively rare, and most coins that are merely dirty or damaged due to circulation will not fall into this category. It's important not to confuse damage caused by wear or environmental exposure with mint-made errors. Collectors are interested in coins that left the mint with imperfections, not coins that were later damaged. If you think your 1956 penny has an error, it might be worth taking a closer look with a magnifying glass or loupe. Compare it to verified examples of known errors online. But for the majority of coins from this year in bad condition, their role is mostly educational or nostalgic rather than profitable. In summary, a 1956 Lincoln wheat penny from the Philadelphia Mint in extra dirty and damaged condition holds little to no significant market value. You might be able to sell it for a few cents to the right buyer, especially if you're selling multiple wheat pennies together. But on its own, it's primarily a piece of history rather than a valuable investment. Still, it can serve as a fun entry point into coin collecting or as a conversation starter about American history and numismatics. Next up, the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. Specifically, we'll be discussing its value in today's market when it appears in a black color shade condition, which can often be confusing or intriguing for collectors. Let's begin by understanding the basics of this coin. The 1946 Lincoln wheat penny was part of the post-World War II coinage issued by the United States Mint. It was minted in large quantities, with over 991 million produced in Philadelphia alone. This version, minted in Philadelphia, carries no mint mark under the date. That's why when you see a 1946 penny without a mint mark, it means it was made in Philadelphia. Now, when we talk about a black color shade Lincoln penny, we're referring to a coin that appears to be much darker than normal. This black appearance is not part of the original design and is almost always the result of environmental exposure, chemical reactions, improper storage, or even cleaning attempts that altered the coin's natural surface. While some collectors might find the color interesting or aesthetically unique, professional numismatists generally do not consider blackened coins to be of high numismatic value unless they have other rare characteristics, such as mint errors or extremely high grades in original condition. With that said, the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny is not a rare coin in general. It is very common and widely available. In average circulated condition, A standard 1946 penny without a mint mark is typically worth between 1 and 5 cents. If the coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value can increase to $1 or $2, sometimes up to $5 or $10 if it is certified by a grading service and placed in a high grade, such as MS65 or higher. But when it comes to a 1946 penny in a black color shade, the story changes slightly. Most of these dark-toned coins have lost their original red or brown surfaces due to corrosion or contamination. This damage significantly reduces their appeal and value to most collectors. In fact, a coin with black discoloration is usually considered damaged or environmentally impaired unless the toning is natural and attractive. In most cases, however, a black-colored 1946 penny will only be worth its face value or slightly more, depending on the severity of the discoloration. Let's take a closer look at market values based on condition. If a black 1946 penny is in poor condition with heavy corrosion or pitting, it will likely only be worth 1 cent. Coin dealers and collectors usually do not pay a premium for these coins. If the coin is still legible and has minimal surface damage despite its black appearance, it might be worth up to 5 cents, mainly for novelty or educational purposes. In better cases, where the coin retains its details and the black shade is due to natural toning rather than damage, it might be considered more desirable. Some collectors are specifically interested in naturally toned coins if the toning is even and aesthetically pleasing. In such cases, the value can range from 10 cents to possibly $1. However, this is quite rare and would usually require the coin to be examined in person or submitted to a professional grading service for a proper assessment. There are also exceptions to consider. If the 1946 penny has a rare error such as an off-center strike, a double die, or a clipped planchet, its value could increase significantly, regardless of the black coloration. Some 1946 era coins in circulated condition have sold for $20 to $50 or more, depending on the rarity and demand for the specific era. However, these are exceptions, and most black 1946 pennies are not era coins. In conclusion, while the 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark is a fascinating piece of American history, its value in a black color shade condition is generally low. The discoloration usually detracts from its collectability, and unless the coin has exceptional characteristics, it will likely only be worth a few cents in today's market. That said, coin collecting is about more than just monetary value. Each coin tells a story, and even common coins can be interesting when you consider the era they came from, the design, and the historical context. If you have a 1946 penny that looks black or discolored, it might be worth examining under good lighting or having it looked at by a coin shop or professional grader. While it may not be worth a fortune, it's still a piece of numismatic history and a conversation starter in any collection. Next up, the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of those coins that continues to attract attention from collectors. Not because it's particularly rare, but because it represents an important part of American coin history. Even in a worn, dirty, or blackened state, these pennies carry value sometimes beyond what you might expect from a common-looking coin. In this video, we'll explore the details of the 1941 wheat penny and evaluate how much it could be worth in today's market, even if it's not in pristine condition. Let's start by understanding what the 1941 penny is. The S Mint mark stands for the San Francisco Mint, which produced over 92 million Lincoln Wheat pennies that year. So, in terms of mintage, it's not a rare coin. But value isn't determined by mintage alone. Condition, demand, errors, and other factors also influence what a coin is worth. Now, what about the design? The 1940 ONS penny features the classic Lincoln Wheat design. On the obverse, or front side, you'll see a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which was designed by Victor David Brenner and introduced in 1909. The reverse side has two stalks of wheat, which gave this coin series its nickname, the Wheat Penny. Above the wheat stalks are the words 1 cent in United States of America, with E pluribus unum along the top dots. So, what happens when this coin is found in poor condition? Suppose you have one that's discolored, maybe dark brown or even blackened from decades of oxidation, corrosion, or just plain exposure to the elements. What's its value then? A coin in such a condition would typically fall under what collectors call good to fine grade, which is on the lower end of the scale. That's because serious collectors prefer coins with minimal wear, strong details, and original coloring. However, that doesn't mean your dark or dirty 1941 wheat penny has no value. Quite the contrary, there's still a market for it. On average, a circulated 1941 wheat penny in dirty or blackened condition might sell for between 5 and 25 cents. This price range accounts for general wear and poor eye appeal, which affects collector interest. In bulk or mixed lots, sellers on online marketplaces like eBay or Etsy often include these worn examples at around this value. But in some cases, even a dirty 1940 penny can be worth more. For example, if the coin has a rare error such as a double die, an off-center strike, or some other minting mistake, it might catch the attention of a specialist. Some of these error coins, even in poor condition, can sell for several dollars or more. However, authenticating and identifying these errors typically requires expert knowledge or a submission to a grading service. The other thing to consider is that cleaning the coin to make it look better is not recommended. Cleaning a coin, especially in an abrasive or chemical way, can actually reduce its value significantly. Collectors prefer coins in original, unaltered condition, if that means they are dirty, corroded, or discolored. If you've found a 1941 penny and are tempted to clean it, it's best to leave it alone. Now, what if your 1941 penny is not just blackened, but also damaged, say bent, scratched, or with a hole punched in it? In such cases, the coin is considered to be in damaged condition, and its value is usually limited to face value or just a few cents. Even bulk buyers or dealers who purchase wheat pennies by the pound are typically not very interested in heavily damaged examples. That said, even lower-grade wheat pennies are still popular among beginning collectors and hobbyists. Many people enjoy collecting wheat pennies just for the fun of it, and having a 1941 SEV in poor condition might still be valuable to someone who's trying to fill a spot in their collection folder. In summary, the value of a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny in dirty or blackened condition usually ranges from 5 to 25 cents, depending on overall wear and eye appeal. It's not considered a rare coin, but it does hold a small premium over face value due to its age and its place in American numismatic history. Rare mint errors or unusual features can boost the value, but they require proper identification. Avoid cleaning the coin, as it may lower its worth. And if you're uncertain about a possible error or unique feature, consider getting a professional opinion, whether you found your 1941 penny in a coin jar, in an old drawer, or while metal detecting. It's a piece of history. Even if it's not worth a fortune, it's a tangible reminder of America during the World War II era. Sometimes, the value of a coin isn't just in the dollar amount, it's in the story it tells and the connection it makes to the past. Next up, the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a coin that holds both historical and numismatic value. While not considered extremely rare, it is still of interest to collectors, especially when found in better conditions, such as extra fine. This coin, minted in Denver in 1951, features the classic wheat reverse design that was used on Lincoln cents from 1909 to 1958. Collectors often seek it out as part of completing their Lincoln wheat cent collections. The Denver Mint produced a large number of pennies in 1951. Fact, over 625 million 1951 Lincoln wheat pennies were struck, making this issue fairly common in circulated condition. Because of this high mintage, its base value is typically modest. However, condition plays a major role in determining a coin's worth. The better preserved a coin is, the higher its potential value. Extra fine is a relatively high circulated grade. A coin in this condition retains much of its original detail, including sharp features on Lincoln's portrait and strong lines on the wheat stalks on the reverse side. To understand the value of a 1951 wheat penny in extra fine condition in today's market, it's important to know how grading works. Coins are generally graded on a scale from 1 to 70. Extra fine coins fall in the 40 to 45 range. At this level, the coin shows light wear, mostly on the high points, but maintains crisp features and a clear design. The rim should be fully intact, and all inscriptions should be legible. This condition is desirable to many collectors who are looking for affordable yet visually appealing coins. In terms of monetary value, a 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny in extra fine condition typically ranges in value between 15 to 50 cents. This range reflects the general retail price in the collector market. Dealers might buy it for slightly less, while buyers may pay a bit more depending on the coin's eye appeal, coloration, and market demand. Coins with nice brown toning or even hints of original red color can command a small premium within this range. Although this coin is not considered rare, its value can increase if it exhibits certain varieties or errors. For instance, any doubling in the date, mint mark, or lettering can make a 1951 penny significantly more valuable. Some coins have been found with repunched mint marks, where the D appears to have been stamped more than once. These minor varieties are sought after by specialists and can increase a coin's value by several dollars or more, depending on the clarity and demand for that particular error. It's also worth noting that prices can fluctuate based on the overall state of the coin market. Economic conditions, interest in coin collecting, and metal prices can all have an impact. While the copper in a 1951 penny adds minimal value, the metal content sometimes influences interest. These coins are composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a composition used before the U.S. Mint switched to a predominantly zinc penny in 1982. When buying or selling a 1951D Lincoln wheat penny in extra fine condition, it's a good idea to refer to recent sales on auction platforms or coin dealer websites. Many online marketplaces allow you to see completed sales, giving you a realistic picture of what people are actually paying. Remember, asking prices are not always the same as actual sales prices. Coins that are professionally graded and encapsulated by reputable companies like PCGS or NGC can sometimes fetch more because buyers trust the grade and authenticity. Coin shops and local dealers also offer avenues for buying or selling, although prices there may be a bit lower due to overhead costs and profit margins. However, buying from a dealer can offer assurance of authenticity, and selling to one may be quicker than listing coins online. Whether you're a collector looking to add a 1951D penny to your set or someone who found one in a drawer and wants to know its worth, it helps to understand how condition, demand, and market trends all influence value. In summary, the 1951D Lincoln wheat penny is a common but nostalgic piece of American coinage. In extra fine condition, it has modest market value, typically between 15 and 50 cents, depending on overall appeal and current demand. While not a high-dollar coin, it remains a valuable part of the Lincoln Cent series and a solid addition to any collection focused on 20th century U.S. coins. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, understanding the details of coins like the 1951D penny helps build knowledge and appreciation for the history of U.S. currency. Next up, the 1935 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark, has drawn attention from collectors due to its historical significance and collectible appeal. But how valuable is it today, especially if you happen to find one in dirty or well-circulated condition? Let's take a closer look at the 1935 Lincoln wheat penny. Its design, history, mintage, and most importantly, its value in today's market when it is found in circulated or uncleaned condition. The 1935 Lincoln wheat penny was minted in Philadelphia, which is why it has no mint mark. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 245 million of these pennies. Because of the high mintage number, the coin is not considered rare in general terms. However, many people still find it exciting to come across one, especially because of its age and the fact that it is part of the long-running and beloved wheat penny series. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials VDB are located on the shoulder of Lincoln's bust in small letters. The reverse side shows two wheat stalks along the edges and the words 1 cent and United States of America in the center. At the top, you'll find the motto E pluribus unum. Now, when evaluating the value of a coin, several factors come into play. These include rarity, demand, and most importantly, condition. Coins that are well preserved or in mint state can command significantly higher prices, but for this video, we're focusing on the 1935 Lincoln wheat penny in dirty or circulated condition, what you might find in an old jar, pocket change, or a relative's drawer. In circulated condition, the 1935 Lincoln wheat penny is relatively common. Most coins from that year that have been in circulation for decades show signs of heavy wear. The details on Lincoln's face may be worn down, the wheat stalks on the reverse may be faint, and the coin may have surface grime or discoloration. Despite this, collectors still pay attention to these coins, particularly those who are trying to complete a full set of wheat pennies. For a coin in good to very good condition, the typical market value today ranges from about 5 to 15 cents. This may not seem like a lot, but it's worth far more than its original face value and demonstrates how even low-grade coins from the past have a story and a place in a collection. If the coin is extremely worn or dirty to the point where important features are hard to distinguish, the value is usually closer to the lower end of that range. However, if you find a coin with all major design features still visible and only moderate wear, it might sell for up to 20 or even 25 cents in some collector markets. Now, it's important to understand that cleaning a dirty coin is not recommended. Many people make the mistake of cleaning old coins to make them look better, but in the world of coin collecting, original surfaces are highly valued. Cleaning can scratch the coin, alter its natural appearance, and actually reduce its value, even if the coin ends up looking shinier. Collectors and dealers almost always prefer coins in their original, untouched state, even if they are dirty or worn. Some special factors can increase the value of a 1935 penny beyond the typical range. For example, if the coin has a notable error, such as a double die strike or off-center design, it can become significantly more valuable. Error coins are sought after because of their rarity and unique nature. In these cases, even a coin in poor condition can sell for several dollars or more, depending on the type and severity of the error. In summary, the 1935 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, when found in dirty or circulated condition, typically has a value between 5 and 25 cents. While it may not be a treasure worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, it's still a piece of American history, over 85 years old, and can be a meaningful part of any coin collection. For those just starting out in the hobby, finding one of these coins can be the beginning of a deeper interest in numismatics. If you're curious about the coin's potential value, consider taking it to a local coin shop or numismatics club. They can often provide a more detailed evaluation based on the coin's specific condition. And remember, the historical value of these coins often outweighs their monetary worth. Each one is a tangible reminder of the past, a small artifact of the economic and social life of 1930s America. So next time you come across an old penny, especially one from 1935, take a closer look. Even if it appears worn or dirty, it may be worth more than you think, and it definitely carries a story that's worth telling. Next up, the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny that was minted without a mint mark. We'll discuss its background, what makes it interesting, how it is graded, and most importantly, how much it is worth in today's market. The 1941 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During this time, the U.S. Mint did not place mint marks on coins struck in Philadelphia, which is why this particular penny is referred to as having no mint mark. In 1941, the country was on the brink of entering World War II, and coinage was an essential part of everyday commerce. Over 887 million of these coins were struck that year at the Philadelphia facility, making it one of the more common wheat pennies. Despite the high mintage, collectors are still drawn to this coin because of its age, design, and the story it tells about American history. The coin features the famous profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor D. Brenner. On the reverse, it has the classic wheat ears design, which was used from 1909 to 1958. The phrase 1 cent is prominently displayed, along with United States of America, and Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. Coin grading is a key factor in determining value. The most commonly used grading scale runs from poor P1 to mint state MS70. For Lincoln Wheat pennies, circulated examples are typically graded between good G4 and extremely fine EF40. Uncirculated coins can be found in grades like mint state 60, 63, and even higher. A 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in average circulated conditions, A, graded good or very good, is relatively common. In this condition, the coin is typically worth around 5 to 10 cents. Although it's more than face value, it's still quite affordable because so many of these coins were produced and have survived in circulation. If the coin is in better condition, such as fine or very fine, the value might go up to 15 or 20 cents. In extremely fine condition, where the details of Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks are still sharp and clear, the value could rise to around 30 to 40 cents. The real value jump happens when you find a 1941 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition. These are coins that were never used in everyday transactions and have retained their original mint luster. In mint state 60, the coin might be worth around $1 to $2. In mint state 63, the value could rise to $3 or even $5 depending on the quality of the strike and the eye appeal. In higher mint state grades like MS65 or MS66, the value increases significantly. A bright, well-struck MS65 example might fetch anywhere between $10 to $15 on the collector market. For coins graded MS67 or higher, which are relatively scarce for this year, the value could exceed $50 or more. Coins in this range are highly sought after by serious collectors who are looking for near-perfect examples to complete their registry sets. One important thing to keep in mind is that the market for coins can fluctuate depending on demand, availability, and broader economic factors. Additionally, coins that are certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC tend to sell for higher prices because buyers have more confidence in the accuracy of the grade. Sometimes, unique features or errors can make a coin more valuable. For the 1941 Lincoln penny, certain die errors like double dies or off-center strike scan increase the coin's worth substantially. If you think you have an error coin, it's best to have it evaluated by an expert. A rare error on a common coin can sometimes be worth hundreds of dollars or more. While the 1921 penny is not considered a rare coin in general, its value increases when it is in excellent condition or when it has been preserved exceptionally. Well, many collectors begin their hobby by searching through jars of old pennies, hoping to find wheat cents like the 1941 issue. These coins are also popular for coin roll hunting, where people search through rolls of pennies from the bank in hopes of finding older or rare coins. If you have a 1941 Lincoln penny without a mint mark and you're wondering what to do with it, your first step should be to evaluate its condition. Take a close look at the details of Lincoln's face, the date, and the wheat stalks on the back. Compare it to online grading guides, or take it to a coin dealer for a professional opinion. In summary, The 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark is a common but classic coin from the World War II era. In average circulated condition, its value is modest, often less than $1. However, in high-grade uncirculated condition, or if it features a rare error, its value can be significantly higher. Whether you're a new collector or just curious about coins you've found in change, the 1941 Wheat penny is a great reminder of America's rich numismatic history and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Asterisk. Next up, the 1956 Wheat penny, particularly the one without a mint mark, remains a common and affordable coin for collectors. But does this coin hold any significant value today? And what should you expect if you come across one in good condition? Let's take a closer look at the 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark and explore its history, design, production details, and current market value in today's collecting environment. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny was struck in Philadelphia, which explains the absence of a mint mark on the coin. Coins minted in Philadelphia during that period typically do not carry any mint mark. The mintage for the 1956 no-mint mark penny was quite high, totaling over 420 million coins. This large production run means that the coin is far from rare, and as a result, most 1956 wheat pennies are considered common. However, collectors still seek these coins, particularly in better grades, for inclusion in Lincoln cent collections. For new collectors, it's a convenient and low-cost way to start building a complete wheat penny set. For more advanced collectors, the condition and subtle die varieties become key points of interest. The obverse of the 1956 wheat penny features the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The design has become iconic, symbolizing American coinage for over a century. On the reverse side, the coin shows the classic wheat ears flanking the words 1 cent in United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum above. This reverse design remained in use until 1959, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. When discussing the value of a 1956 wheat penny, the condition plays a crucial role. Coin collectors use a grading scale to assess a coin's condition, ranging from poor to mint state. Coins that have seen heavy circulation and display wear are typically valued much lower than those in uncirculated condition. For a 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark in average circulated condition, meaning it has moderate wear and is classified as good or very good, the value is generally modest. In most cases, you can expect such a coin to be worth about 3 to 10 cents. That's right, slightly above face value, but not significantly more. These coins are often found in bulk wheat penny lots sold online or at coin shops. If the coin is in better condition, say extremely fine or about uncirculated, the value can rise slightly. In these grades, the coin may sell for around 20 cents to $1. Still, the coin remains relatively common, so the premium for higher condition is limited now. Where things start to get more interesting is when the coin is in uncirculated condition. Uncirculated or mint state coins are those that show no signs of wear and retain their original luster from the minting process. These coins are typically graded on a numeric scale from MS60 to MS70, with higher numbers indicating a better coin. In 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in mint state, 63 or 64 condition might sell for $1 to $3. If the coin is particularly well struck and has strong eye appeal, perhaps grading MS65 or higher, the value can range from $5 to $15, depending on the market and buyer interest. The highest values are reserved for coins that have been graded and encapsulated by professional third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. A certified 1956 no-mint mark penny in MS66 or MS67 red condition can sell for significantly more. In recent years, examples in MS67 red have sold for between $50 and $100 at auction, depending on demand and quality. It's also worth noting that special varieties or errors from this year can command higher premiums. While the 1956 wheat penny is not particularly known for dramatic errors, minor doubled dies, repunched mint marks on the Denver variety, or die cracks may be of interest to specialized collectors. However, these are rare and must be authenticated to fetch higher prices. Ultimately, if you come across a 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark in your change or an old jar, it likely won't make you rich. In circulated condition, its value remains low, but it's still a charming and historic piece of American coinage. For collectors, every coin has a story, and the 1956 wheat penny is a small yet enduring part of that legacy. So, in summary, a 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in good circulated condition is generally worth around 5 to 10 cents. Higher grade examples can range up to a few dollars, and mint state specimens graded MS66 or MS67 can reach $50 or more. While not a rare or high-value coin in most cases, it remains a classic and beloved part of U.S. coin collecting history. Next up, the 1955D, Lincoln Wheat Penny. While not as instantly recognizable or legendary as the 1955 double die from Philadelphia, the Denver Mint version of this coin still holds significance for collectors, especially when considering its current value, even in poor condition. Let's begin by understanding what makes the Lincoln Wheat Penny a collector's item in the first place. Minted from 1909 to 1958, the Wheat Penny is a foundational series in American numismatics. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, Abraham Lincoln, in its obverse. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the reverse shows two wheat stalks, framing the words 1 cent, hence the name, Wheat Penny. The 1955D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, identifiable by the small D mint mark located just beneath the date. In terms of mintage, it is far from rare. Over 563 million of these pennies were produced. Because of this, the coin is generally considered common in circulated grades. However, coin value isn't determined by rarity alone. Condition, demand, and historical significance all play crucial roles. Many people today come across 1955D Lincoln Wheat pennies in old coin jars, inherited collections, or even as change from vending machines. One frequent question that arises is, what is the coin worth if it's in poor condition, especially if it looks dirty, corroded, or nearly black? In numismatics, the condition of a coin is classified using a grading scale that ranges from poor P1 to mint state MS70. A dirty or blackened penny would likely fall on the lower end of this scale. In many cases, such discoloration comes from environmental exposure, being buried in soil, stored in humid conditions, or left in a damp location for decades. These conditions can cause oxidation or corrosion that significantly alters the coin's appearance. For a 1955D wheat penny, in this condition, specifically dirty, darkened, or heavily worn, the value is modest. On the low end, dealers may offer only 1 to 5 cents for such a coin. In the eyes of most collectors, it is considered a filler coin, meaning it's a placeholder until a better example can be found. That said, even in poor condition, it is not completely worthless. For someone assembling a full set of Lincoln Wheat pennies from 1909 through 1958, having a 1955D is still necessary to complete the collection. This ongoing collector interest helps retain some base-level demand. In today's market, a 1955D wheat penny in good to very good condition, assuming it is still readable and not completely damaged, might sell for about 5 to 10 cents. If the coin is extremely dirty or blackened and its details are obscured, its value could drop closer to its face value unless it holds some other point of interest, such as a mint error. On the other hand, coins with original luster and minimal wear, even from a common year like 1955, can command higher prices. A 1955D wheat penny in uncirculated or mint state condition may be worth between $1 and $5, depending on the grade. Some exceptionally high-grade examples can sell for even more, especially if professionally graded and encapsulated by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC.1. Point of caution: cleaning a dirty penny does not increase its value. In fact, cleaning often reduces a coin's worth. Collectors prefer original surfaces, even if they are darkened or discolored. Abrasive cleaning can scratch the coin and remove its natural patina, making it less desirable to serious buyers. While the 1955D is not one of the most valuable Lincoln Wheat pennies, it's still a coin with character and history. Its real value might not be in the dollar amount, but in its connection to mid-20th century America. If you found one in an old drawer or inherited it from a family member, it's worth saving, even if it's just for sentimental reasons. If your 1955D penny is dirty or blackened, the best course of action is to store it properly in a cool, dry place. You can also place it in a coin flip or holder to protect it from further damage. If you're unsure about its value or grade, consider bringing it to a local coin dealer or coin show for a professional opinion. In conclusion, the 1955D Lincoln Wheat penny is not a high-value coin in poor condition, but it still plays a valuable role in the collecting world. Its worth in today's market, in dirty or black color condition, is typically just a few cents. However, its appeal comes from being part of one of the most beloved series in American coinage. Whether you're a beginner looking to build your collection or simply curious about what you found in your change, the 1955D penny is a small but meaningful piece of American history. Next up, the 1941D penny stands out as a coin that's often found in circulation and in collections alike. While not the rarest of the series, it still holds considerable interest, especially depending on its condition and any unique features it may have. Let's take a deeper look at the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny with the D Mint mark, which means it was struck at the Denver Mint. This coin is part of the early 1940s production run, a time when the United States was preparing to enter World War II, even though the coin itself was minted in large numbers. the condition and specific characteristics can make a big difference in its value on today's market. The total mintage for the 1941D penny was approximately 128 million coins. That's quite a lot, which generally means the coin is not rare in the broadest sense. However, as time passes and more of these coins are lost, damaged, or held in private collections, the number available in good condition continues to shrink. When it comes to coin values, condition is everything. For uncirculated coins, particularly those graded by a third-party service like PCGS or NGC, prices can reach impressive figures. A 1941D penny in mint state condition, say MS65 red, can be valued at around $15 to $20. But once you get into higher grades such as MS66 or MS67, especially with full red color and strong details, prices can jump to over $100 or even more depending on the market. However, the focus of today's video is not those high-end examples. We're talking about a 1941D Lincoln wheat penny in dirty, black-shaded, or heavily circulated condition. This is the kind of coin most people might find in an old jar, an attic collection, or perhaps even in pocket change. These coins have seen years of handling and oxidation, and their appearance shows it. A coin with heavy dirt or black toning often has what collectors call environmental damage. This means it has been exposed to moisture, chemicals, or simply aged naturally over decades. While this can detract from the eye appeal, and certainly from the grade, the coin still holds value, especially for beginners or collectors working on a circulated set. In today's market, a heavily circulated 1941D penny in poor to good condition, it might be worth around 5 to 15 cents if sold in bulk or individually at face-to-face coin shops. That's right, many of these coins are still worth just a fraction above face value when in poor shape, but don't be discouraged. Even coins in this condition can bring more if they have certain qualities. What kind of qualities are we talking about? First, errors. If the coin has a die crack, double die features, off-center strike, or other minting errors that can raise its value dramatically. For example, a 1941D with a doubled die obverse or reverse could sell for $10 to $50 or more, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Next, we consider demand. While a single circulated penny might only fetch a few cents, collectors often buy them in lots. A roll of 50 heavily worn wheat pennies, including 1941D examples, might sell for $3 to $5 online. This brings the value per coin closer to 6 to 10 cents each. It's not a fortune, but it's certainly more than face value. Now, what if your 1941D penny is heavily toned or blackened but not damaged? There is a small group of collectors who appreciate natural toning and aged appearances, especially if the toning appears evenly across the coin and doesn't obscure the details too much. In these cases, the value might increase, slightly, perhaps reaching up to $1 or more if the coin has strong details and attractive coloration, despite being circulated. It's also worth noting that the sentimental or historical value of these coins can sometimes exceed the market value. Owning a coin that was minted before America entered World War II carries its own appeal. These pennies were in pockets during an important chapter of history and may have passed through thousands of hands over the decades. So to summarize, a 1941D Lincoln wheat penny in dirty or black shaded condition is generally worth between 5 and 15 cents on the low end, but possibly more depending on unique characteristics. If it's part of a collection, in a roll, or features a mint error, that value could go up significantly. On rare occasions, some attractively toned or lightly circulated examples might sell for a few dollars to the right buyer. If you have one of these coins, it's not likely to make you rich, but it's a great way to start a collection or learn more about American coinage history. And who knows, it might inspire you to look more closely at those old coins sitting in a drawer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you in next time. Happy collecting!